Hey guys, welcome back. It's Joseph. Quick and simple gospel. Yeshua, Jesus, came to this earth, lived a perfect 33 years, was crucified on a cross for our sins, buried in a tomb for 3 days, and rose from the grave on the third day. We are saved through faith in Christ alone and by no other name. Amen. So, good afternoon, guys. Hope you are doing well today. Got a lot to talk about today. The big story: deadly and catastrophic flooding unfolding along Texas's Guadalupe River. So that's the big story. I also got like 5 other decodes to cover today. So it should be a good show. We'll give it a few minutes, wait for a few people to jump in, and then we'll go ahead and get started. Let me see how we're looking here on the screen. And sorry if you hear any background noise today. Besides my fan that I normally have running, we got people doing fireworks already. We got people mowing their yard. We got some dogs barking. So you might hear some background noise today. Just had a loud car go by or a motorcycle. But hopefully you'll be able to hear me with all the noise. Hello to Lori, Ken, Better Try Again, Henry, Debbie, Jacob, Linz. Much love, everyone. Hope you guys are having a great day. Hey, Katie. Guys, do me a favor when you come in, please hit the like button. Very much appreciated. Helps out the algorithm and helps more people find the video. And also, please hit the share button. That way we can get this out to more people. All right, guys, we got a lot to talk about, so we'll go ahead and get started. We're going to start with the Texas flooding. All right, guys, just give me a second to get all set up here. Hey, Leslie. All right. So much to talk about today. There's been a lot going on in the news. All right. I think that looks okay. Here we go. Deadly and catastrophic flooding unfolding along Texas's Guadalupe River. This article from today, July 4th, 4th of July. A catastrophic and deadly flooding emergency was unfolding in Texas on the 4th of July as heavy rains caused the Guadalupe River to rapidly rise. People have died in Kerr County, and roads were flooding in Kerrville, a city of 25,000 people, about 60 miles northwest of San Antonio, authorities said. All right, guys, so we're going to break this down all by the numbers using gematria, which is simply letters as numerals. And once you learn the simple code of coding letters into numbers, you can see right through the scripted coded news every day. All right, guys, so the first thing I want to point out, it says catastrophic Texas flooding causes deaths. Emergency warning issued. You see how they highlight catastrophic? Well, that equals 74, and we get this news on 7/4, right? And not only is it 7/4, but it's Independence Day, right? Which equals 74. And look at this. It says in Kerrville, the seat of Kerr County, Mayor Joe Herring Jr. issued a disaster declaration for the city Friday morning due to the dangerous flooding. Well, look at his name. This is the mayor of Kerrville. Joe Herring Jr. equals 74 in the same cipher as Independence Day. 74. Give me 1 second, guys. Let me see if I can straighten out my screen a little bit better. It looks like it's just off by a hair. Hold on. You guys know me and my OCD. I gotta be perfectly straight. Hold on 1 second. Here, let's see if that made a difference. Yeah, I guess. Yeah, that looks fine. If you guys don't know, I'm like an OCD perfectionist. Like, things got to be perfectly straight. I'm one of the few people that does YouTube with a phone stand. You know, most people just go live from their computer. But for me, I go live from my phone. And I actually prefer it this way. But yeah, sometimes I got to put like a little piece of paper under my computer to make it a little straighter. But anyway, sorry about that. We look straighter up top now. All right. So let's back up. Catastrophic Texas flooding causes deaths, emergency warning issued. So we get this news on 7/4, guys. Okay? Catastrophic equals 74. That's the big word all the news sources are using. They're using catastrophic, which equals 74. And we get this news on 7/4. In Kerrville, the seat of Kerr County, Mayor Joe Herring Jr. issued a disaster declaration for the city Friday morning due to the dangerous flooding. Joe Herring Jr., 74, and we get this news on 7/4 on Independence Day, 74. Holiday, 74. Masonic, 74. Killing, 74. And today is also 74 days after the Pope died. And remember that for later, because we're going to make a big connection to the Jesuits and the Catholic Church. But yeah, the first point here, catastrophic flooding on Independence Day, right? Independence Day, 74. The mayor's name, 74. Catastrophic, 74. Holiday, Masonic, killing, 74. All right, well, back to the mayor. We talked about the 74s. Independence Day is also 70. The mayor's name, Joe Herring Jr., is 70. Climate change, 70. And this is the Guadalupe River that is flooding. Guadalupe River is also 70. So isn't that interesting? Guadalupe River, 70. Independence Day, 70. The mayor's name, 70. And climate change, 70. Catastrophic flash flooding along the Guadalupe River on Independence Day. Flash flooding is 128, like Independence Day is 128 in the same cipher. The Guadalupe River rose 22 feet in 3 hours. Well, there's your 223, or your 322 backwards, right? So the Guadalupe River rose 22 feet in 3 hours. Flash flooding equals 223. And the governor of Texas is Gregory Wayne Abbott, which equals 223. Skull and Crossbones is also 223, and Masonic is 223. And again, that's the backwards 322. But yep, can you believe it? 22 feet in 3 hours when flash flooding is 223. The Guadalupe River rose 22 feet in 3 hours overnight near Hunt, Texas. Hunt, Texas is 33, like Masonry 33, the highest degree of the Scottish Rite, the 33rd degree. And we also get this news 33 weeks after the governor's birthday. So again, the big word they're using is catastrophic. Catastrophic is also 133. We get this news 133 days before the governor's birthday. 4th of July, 177, weather control, 177, the Jesuit order, 177. So here's where we start to make the Jesuit connection. Texas equals 69. Kerrville, Texas equals 69. Weather Control 69. Catholic Church 69. The Jesuit Order 69. And Weather Control is a perfect match to the Jesuit Order and 3 out of the 4 base ciphers. Weather Control is 177, 69, 201. The Jesuit Order 177, 69, 201. And remember how big the 201 was with the last Pope, who died 74 days ago, right? Jorge Mario Bergoglio, 201, lived in Suite 201 at the Domus Sancti Marte, 201. Catholic Pope, 201. Ignatius of Loyola, 201, the founder of the Jesuit Order. The Georgia Guidestones went down 201 days from the Pope's birthday, and Pope Francis died 201 days from the death anniversary of St. Francis of Assisi, who we got his name from. Remember, we had Event 201, William Henry Gates 201. We had Preparing for Disease X, 201 weeks after COVID declared a pandemic and 201 days from Obama's birthday. The Son of Perdition, Barack Hussein Obama 201, That Old Serpent 201. Event 201 on 10:18, like Luke 10:18. I beheld Satan as lightning fall from heaven. Barack means lightning, bomb of the heights. But anyways, moving on. So the leader of the Jesuits is Arturo Sosa. His birthday is November 12th. We get this news about flooding in Kerrville 131 days before his birthday. And look at that, Kerrville equals 131. It's 131 days before his birthday, Kerrville 131. And we're going to connect this to Pope Leo shortly. Pope Leo XIV is also 131 in the same cipher as Kerrville. Kerrville is 112 and 49, like Catholicism is 112 and 49, and the Jesuits operate in 112 nations. So there's another big Jesuit connection. Flooding is 46 and 35. Catholic is 46 and 35. And here's another one. Flash flood is also 46, like Catholic is 46. And flooding 46. Remember, they are using that word catastrophic, which equals 52. Flood 52. This is in Kerr County. Kerr 52. Pope 52. And then flood, Kerr, and Pope, they also all have the 25 in the same cipher. Now look at this big connection to the Pope. So Pope Leo became the Pope on May 8th. Today is 57 days after he became the Pope. Look at this. Kerr County, 57 on 4th of July, 57 in the same cipher. How about that? And remember, if we just go back a little bit, not only is it 131 days from the leader of the Jesuits' birthday, but look, Pope Leo XIV is 131. Kerrville is 131 in the same cipher. So Pope Leo XIV equals Kerrville, all right? And this happened in Kerr County, 57 days after he became the Pope on the 4th of July. And look at that. 57 days after he became the Pope, Kerr County, 57, 4th of July, 57 in the same cipher. And remember, weather control equals the Jesuit Order and 4th of July also. So this is a river that's overflowing. River equals 72, like Jesuit Order 72. Today is 72 days before the Pope's birthday. Couldn't script it any better. So this happened in Kerr County. Kerr equals 56, Pope 56, climate change 56. The governor is Greg Abbott, which equals 56, and Society of Jesus equals 56. That's the Jesuits. And we get this news on a day with 56 date numerology. 7 plus 4 plus 20 plus 25 is 56. There's that word catastrophic again. Catastrophic 191, like Society of Jesus 191. That's the official name of the Jesuits. And back to the mayor, Joe Herring Jr. has the 187, like Society of Jesus 187. Deadly flood wave reminds locals of 1987. Officials have compared this flood to the historic Guadalupe River flood of 87, when nearly a foot of rain fell just west of Hunt, Texas between July 16th and 17th. This triggered a similar flood wave downstream, killing 10 teenagers and injuring 33 people. There's the 33 again. Remember, Hunt, Texas equaled 33. According to the National Weather Service, the wave also moved through Ingram, Kerrville, and Comfort. Anyways, the point here, see how they highlight flood wave? That equals 103, like the Vatican 103 and Jesuits 103. Guadalupe River 83, like flood 83 and murder 83. Remember the song Murder by Numbers came out in the year 83. Murder by Numbers movie poster, the B is changed to an 8, the E is changed to a 3. And for the record, Kerr County is also 150 and 120, like Illuminati is 150 and 120. And we get these flash floods on July 4th, the day leaving 180 days left in the year. Flash floods equals 180. Wow. All right, guys, that's it for the first part, but stick around. We got like 5 more decodes to go. But if anybody would like to support the channel, here's how you can do so. Any support, very much appreciated. And thank you so much to everyone who does support. You guys are amazing. All right, we'll come back to this later for the people who came in late. All right, I put this video out late last night. It was like 2 in the morning. Sophia Hutchins dies in ATV accident. Caitlyn Jenner's manager was 29. And we got this news on July 3rd. So we had 3 celebrity deaths in the news yesterday. Sophia Hutchins, Michael Madsen, and Diogo Jota, the soccer player. And I knew it would be a busy day. I told my wife on July 2nd, I said, watch, there's going to be celebrity deaths in the news on July 3rd. That's because sacrifice and ritual sacrifice equal 7-3. But anyways, the death of Sophia Hutchins was in the news on 7-3. And look at her name, Sophia Hutchins equals 73. The same day, we got the news of Michael Madsen, which equals 73. And I'm going to do the whole decode on that shortly. Ritual sacrifice, 73, and sacrifice, 73. Sophia Hutchins, 170, like sacrifice, 170. So we got the news on July 3rd. The birthday of Caitlyn Jenner, whose real name is Bruce Jenner, is October 28th. So we got this news 248 days after Bruce Jenner's birthday, and human sacrifice is 248. And human sacrifice is also 130, like manager is 130. We got this news 118 days before Bruce Jenner's birthday. Homicide 118, death 118. The birthday of Sophia Hutchins is April 1st. We got this news 93 days after Sophia Hutchins' birthday. Caitlyn Jenner's manager equals 93. And she allegedly died on July 2nd. That was 92 days after her birthday. She died in an ATV crash. ATV crash equals 92. How about that? Couldn't script it any better. And she died on July 2nd, the day leaving 182 days left in the year. The real name of Caitlyn Jenner, Bruce Jenner, equals 182. She died at the age of 29 in an ATV crash, and she was on episodes of I Am Kate. Look at this. ATV crash 29, I Am Kate 29, dead at 29 in an ATV crash. Wow. And Masonic is 29. Her death is in the news 3 months and 3 days after her birthday. And it was also in the news 3 weeks and 3 days before the anniversary of I Am Kate. The last name Jenner equals 33. Masonry equals 33, the highest degree of the Scottish Rite, the 33rd degree. And it says here, Hutchins was driving an ATV down a road near Jenner's Malibu home when she crashed into the bumper of a moving vehicle. Bumper is also 33. She died in Malibu, California, which equals 74. Friend and manager, 74. Killing and Masonic, 74. Friend and manager, 115. Bruce Jenner, 115. Freemasons, 115. Masonic and killing, 115. ATV, 43. Freemasons, 43. Masonic and killing, 43. ATV is 43 and 38. RIP, 43 and 38. Killing, 43 and 38. ATV 38 and 20, RIP 38 and 20, death is 38 and 20. So it's her friend and manager. Friend equals 38, ATV 38, RIP 38, death 38, killing 38, murder 38. And back to the Murder by Numbers movie poster, remember the E is changed to a 3, the B is changed to an 8. That's because murder is 38 and 83. The manager died in an accident. Accident 5932. Manager 5932 in the same ciphers. And for the record, Caitlyn Jenner has that 201, like the Jesuit order, 201. Let's talk a little bit about 4th of July real quick. So long story short, I used to be very patriotic until I woke up. My awakening process started August of 2019, and thank God for waking me up. But yes, I used to be very patriotic. I even have the American flag tattooed on my arm, which I regret. I regret all my tattoos, but if you're somebody who's still patriotic, hopefully you will watch this video and wake up to reality that America is a very sinful nation and a nation based on lies, okay? And perhaps Babylon, right? That's my opinion. I think the United States is Babylon. But anyways, I just wanted to show you this interesting stuff here. Patriotic equals 666. Star Spangled Banner equals 666. Babylon US equals 666. US of America equals 666. That's a lot to be a coincidence. Independence Day is on 7/4, right? That's today. Independence Day equals 74. Masonic equals 74. Lucifer equals 74. Killing equals 74. Did you know 3 of the first 5 presidents died on 7/4? 3 out of 5. That's crazy, right? Holiday equals 74. 4th of July, 147. Freemason, 147. National Anthem, 147. And then 4th of July is also 177, like Weather Control, 177, right? New World Order, 177. The Jesuit Order, 177. And That Old Serpent, 177. So there's a little decode for you on the patriotic 4th of July. Not much to celebrate when everything's a lie, right? Your votes don't count. They control the weather. They spray the skies. That whole thing. All your sports are fake. Everything is manipulation, fluoride in the water, locked down the country for a couple years, you know, that whole thing. Never forget, COVID was declared a pandemic March 11th, 2020, exactly 666 days after the Cladex pandemic simulation. That's America for you. But really the whole world, right? It's not just America. We're just the worst of the bunch, but yeah. The whole world is like this now. It's a new world order takeover. Let me take a sip of water. Hold on. Michael Madsen, actor known for Reservoir Dogs and Kill Bill Volume 2, dies at 67, July 3rd. Well, he's dead at 67. In Gematria, human sacrifice, 67. Blood sacrifice, 67. And he's dead on 7/3. Look at this. Michael Madsen, 73. Ritual sacrifice, 73. Sacrifice, 73. That's pretty obvious, right? Dead at 67, when human sacrifice and blood sacrifice are 67. And he's dead on 7/3, when ritual sacrifice and sacrifice are 73. But on top of that, his name equals 73. Pretty obvious one. For the record, if you're a 90s kid like me, I was born in 91. I grew up on Free Willy. This is the dad. Well, not the real dad, but remember they take in Jesse? I think his name was Glenn in the movie. But yeah, this is the foster dad from Free Willy. That's where I know him from. I wasn't big on Reservoir Dogs or Kill Bill, but I was a big Free Willy fan. Michael Madsen also has the 107, like Ritual Sacrifice, 107. So he's known for Kill Bill Volume 2, which equals 130, like Human Sacrifice, 130. Yeah, thank you, Todd. Don't forget the full name of NASA. National Aeronautics and Space Administration equals 666. Yeah, don't forget that. So Kill Bill Volume 2 made its premiere on April 8th. So he's dead 86 days from the premiere anniversary. Human sacrifice, 86. Blood sacrifice, 86. And remember, to 86 someone means to get rid of them. And Kill Bill Volume 2 made its theatrical release April 16th. So he's dead 79 days from the anniversary of the theatrical release, Kill Bill 79 Murder 79. So he's also known for Reservoir Dogs, which had its theatrical release October 9th. But according to several sources, the Los Angeles premiere of Reservoir Dogs took place the day before on October 8th. So either way you look at it, if you do October 8th or October 9th, he died 38 weeks after the anniversary of the movie, right? Well, Quentin Tarantino directed both Reservoir Dogs and Kill Bill Volume 2. So he also died 38 weeks before Quentin Tarantino's birthday. All right? So 38 weeks from the anniversary of the movie, 38 weeks from Quentin Tarantino's birthday. And in Reservoir Dogs, he played Mr. Blonde, which equals 38. Like death, killing, and murder, they're all 38. And again, back to the Murder by Numbers movie poster, the E is changed to a 3, the B is changed to an 8. Remember? Mr. Blonde. Oh, look. I got it right there. Good. He played Mr. Blonde in Reservoir Dogs, right? Mr. Blonde also has the 83 like murder. 83, right? So Mr. Blonde is 83 and 38 like murder is 83 and 38. And if you were wondering what I was talking about this whole time with the Murder by Numbers movie poster, this is the movie called Murder by Numbers. Why do you think they changed the E to a 3 and the B to an 8? Because murder is 38 and 83. And that's also why the song Murder by Numbers came out in the year 83. And back to Quentin Tarantino, he's 62 years old right now. Remember, he directed Kill Bill Volume 2 and Reservoir Dogs. But he's 62 years old right now. Perfect age for a sacrifice connected to him, right? Sacrifice equals 62. And Reservoir Dogs had its premiere at the Sundance Film Festival on January 21st, 1992. So that was 33 years ago. And actor equals 33, masonry, 33, the highest degree of the Scottish Rite, the 33rd degree. All right, that's it for Michael Madsen. Free Willy Dad. All right, let's see. All right, I think we'll end with the soccer player. We'll make that the last one. Let's do this mass shooting that happened in Chicago. Now, I wasn't going to cover this at first because, you know, shootings happen all the time in Chicago, but they're not always 4 dead, 14 wounded, perfectly by the numbers. So I said, I'll go ahead and do this one. But yeah, I know a lot of people, they probably saw this. They're like, just another day in Chicago, but not this many. Not usually this many. So, and, you know, they don't usually make Fox News and CNN, you know, the shootings in Chicago that happen every day. When it ends up on Fox or CNN, it's worth looking into, right? Chicago drive-by shooting leaves at least 4 dead, 14 wounded. That's a lot. And we got this news on July 3rd. But I believe it happened the day before, right? Yeah. A drive-by shooting in Chicago killed at least 4 people and hospitalized 14 others, authorities said Thursday. The incident unfolded around 11 p.m. Wednesday in the River North neighborhood when at least one person fired shots from a dark-colored vehicle into a crowd standing outside Artist Restaurant and Lounge, police said. All right, guys, so as usual, these shootings are connected to the governor. And this happened in Illinois. And remember, it happened on Wednesday, which was July 2nd. So the governor of Illinois, J. Robert Pritzker, his birthday, January 19th. So this happened 165 days after his birthday. Mass shooting equals 165. What are the odds, right? 165 days from his birthday, mass shooting, 165. So it happened 201 days before the governor's birthday. There's that 201 again. And that's, you know, the other big reason I did this. You know, once I saw these numbers, 165 days after his birthday, when mass shooting is 165, and 201 days before his birthday, like the Jesuit order. And then it says here that police said a drive-by shooting occurred around 11 p.m. outside the Artist Restaurant and Lounge nightclub, which equals 201. I said, I got to do this one, right? So, yep, 201 days before the governor's birthday, Artist Restaurant and Lounge nightclub 201, the Jesuit order 201. The crowd was said to be leaving the nightclub following an album release party for rapper Mellow Bucks. All right, Mellow Bucks' birthday is April 9th, so this happened 84 days after her birthday. Drive-by shooting, 84, the Jesuit order, 84, Jesuit, 84. And the Chicago shooting happened on 7/2. Look at that. Chicago shooting equals 72, like Jesuit order is 72. And it happened at Artist Restaurant and Lounge, which is 153, like Chicago shooting 153, Jesuit order 153. Chicago nightclub 7983, murder 7983. There's that 83 again, right? The crowd was said to be leaving the nightclub following an album release party for rapper Mellow Bucks. Rapper has the 74 and the 38 like killing. 74, 38. Of course, murder and death are also 38. And this shooting happened in Chicago on a Wednesday. Chicago, 37, shooter 37, Wednesday 37, gunfire 37, and shooting 37. All right. Oh, real quick, you guys know I did a whole decode on P. Diddy, right? I put out a quick little video. Let's see, do I have the key points here? Yeah, here's basically the key points. The whole trial started with jury selection on May 5th, right? That was 666 months after Diddy was born. How about that? And the trial was for sex trafficking, which equals 666, and they called it a criminal enterprise, which equals 666. And the trial happened in New York, which equals 666. And the trial started on May 5th with jury selection, which is 5-5. Don't forget Satan equals 55, and Diddy is 55 years old. And this is all about the Puff Daddy freak-offs. And notice Puff Daddy is a perfect match to freak-offs in 3 out of the 4 base ciphers, right? Let me go ahead and mention one more point here before I go to the sentencing part. Here you go. They reached a verdict on July 2nd. That was 241 days after his birthday. Sean Diddy Combs, 241. Is it all a coincidence? But yeah, the new thing I want to show you here. By the way, there he is with Trump, right? All the world's a stage, right? But yeah, they're good buddies, I guess. It's all scripted distraction nonsense, guys. Don't believe anything on the TV. All right, so he's going to be sentenced on October 3rd. And did I not? You know what? There was another part of this. I'm going to have to go back. Hold on. I want to mention the 152. I'll have to go backwards here. By the way, if you remember my whole decode that I did on Diddy, I connected the whole thing to the Jesuits, right? He's going to be sentenced on 10-3. Jesuits is 103, like 10-3. Hello. But anyways, he's going to be sentenced on October 3rd, right? That's going to be 152 days after the trial began with jury selection, right? Look at this. Sean Combs, 152, and the trial was all about sex trafficking, 152, right? But let me go to the 33. I think that's what it is, but let me go back to this other photo, make sure there's nothing else on there. And then we'll do the soccer player, then we'll do the recap of the flooding, and then we'll wrap this thing up. So here's the big part. He's going to be sentenced on October 3rd, right? His birthday is November 4th. Can you believe he's going to be sentenced 33 days before his birthday? What a joke. And the whole trial is taking place in New York, which equals 33. This is a federal trial, which equals 33. Masonry, 33. The highest degree, the Scottish Rite, the 33rd degree. But what a perfect day, huh? 33 days from his birthday. What a script. Okay. Let's talk about the soccer player. Very obvious ritual. Liverpool star Diogo Jota dies at 28 in car crash in Spain. This article from July 3rd. All right, guys, so he died on 7-3, right? Sacrifice equals 73. Ritual sacrifice equals 73. Hold on, let me take a sip of water. Been doing a lot of talking. All right, so he died on 7-3, right? Sacrifice 73, ritual sacrifice 73. His birthday, December 4th. He died 154 days before his birthday. Ritual sacrifice equals 154. So he plays for Liverpool, who just won the Premier League title on April 27th. Okay? He died 67 days, right? Just like we had Michael Madsen dead at 67, right? On 7-3 when Michael Madsen equals 73 and ritual sacrifice and it's the same numbers, guys, right? We're talking about the 67 and the 73, right? Remember, he died on 7-3, sacrifice 73, ritual sacrifice 73. He died 154 days before his birthday, ritual sacrifice 154, right? So he plays for Liverpool, who just won the Premier League on April 27th. Okay, so he died 67 days after they won the Premier League, right? Why does that matter? Human sacrifice 67, blood sacrifice 67, and soccer player is also 67. I mean, that's only 3 slides, and it's already pretty undeniable, right? At the young age of 28, dead on 7-3, like sacrifice and ritual sacrifice 73, dead 154 days from his birthday, ritual sacrifice 154, and he's dead 67 days after winning the Premier League title. Human sacrifice, blood sacrifice, and soccer player, they're all 67. Well, do you remember on May 26, 2025, when a motorist drove his car into a crowd for the Liverpool victory parade, right? So he died 38 days, right? He died in a car crash. You had a car drive into a crowd during the victory parade for Liverpool, right? And I'm going to show you the decode on that in a second. Not the whole decode, but the key points. But anyways, he's dead in a car crash 38 days after the car crashed into the victory parade for Liverpool, right? And the nickname for Liverpool is the Reds, which equals 38, murder 38, death 38, killing 38. And again, the Murder by Numbers movie poster, the E is changed to a 3, the B is changed to an 8. How many times we talked about the number 38 today, right? So let me remind you of the key points here. Number 1, here's your suspect that did the car ramming, Paul Doyle. All right? Paul Doyle equals 132, car equals 132, England equals 132. And when this happened, Liverpool Football Club was 132 years old. And I'll prove it. It was May 26, 2025 when this happened. And Liverpool Football Club was founded June 3rd, 1892. So from June 3rd, 1892 until the day it happened, see how Liverpool was 132 years old, the Liverpool Football Club? And you're telling me the suspect's name is Paul Doyle, 132, like car in England, 132? Now, if you think that's a coincidence, how about this? The guy who did the ramming, his name is Paul Doyle. Look at this. Paul Doyle, 3942 ramming, 39 and 42 in the same ciphers. And if you think that's a coincidence, Paul Doyle equals 666. So is it all a coincidence that a Liverpool football star would die in a car crash 38 days after the car crashed into the victory parade, when the Reds, murder, death, killing, they're all 38? The Reds is a perfect match to murder. In 3 out of the 4 base ciphers, the Reds 79, 34, 38 murder. 79, 34, 38. This happened in the municipality of Cernadia in Zamora. Cernadia 79, the Red 79 murder, 79. Zamora 74 killing, 74 Masonic, 74. Speaking of Masonry, he's dead at the age of 28. Kill equals 28. Mason equals 28. And look at this. His name, Diogo Jota, is a perfect match to Freemason in every cipher across the board. Diogo Jota 96, 42, 147, 48 like Freemason. Perfect match. That's crazy. Jota married his partner, Ruth Cardoso, less than 2 weeks before the fiery crash. They shared 3 children. Look at her name. Ruth Cardoso, 139 and 158 like Freemasonry. 139 and 158. So he died in a car crash exactly 22 weeks before his birthday. Car, 22, crash, 22, and his name, Diogo, 22. Jota is 46 and 62 like Sacrifice is 46 and 62. And Liverpool Football Club equals 322. That's the number of skull and bones, the Brotherhood of Death. Now here's something I didn't mention in the first video. You know, I was kicking myself as usual whenever I miss something, because again, I'm a OCD perfectionist, not by choice, but you know, it's a good thing and it's a bad thing, because you know, it irritates the heck out of me and probably some of you guys how sometimes I got to have my screen perfectly straight, and you know, I'm very meticulous about things, but it's a good thing because by being an OCD perfectionist, I always get to the bottom of things. I go the extra mile, where some people might just spend 30 minutes on a decode. I spend several hours because I don't want to miss anything. And when I do miss something, I end up kicking myself for the rest of the day, or at least until I go live and add it in there. But yeah, this is one of the big points that I missed, and the next slide is also another big point that I missed in the first decode. But here it is. He died in a car crash on a day with 55 date numerology. 7 plus 3 plus 20 plus 25 equals 55, and car crash equals 55. So I missed that. And yeah, also Satan equals 55. And here's the other big part that I missed. Liverpool soccer player dies in a car accident weeks after wedding. Guys, he died on July 3rd, day number 184 of the year. Look at that. Soccer player equals 184. And that's another thing I didn't have in the first decode. So, yep. I believe it was definitely a ritual. And then Adam the Illusion did a good video with decoding with Cody. So between all our videos, and I think Gematrinator85 did a video, you know, we can't all be crazy, right? But yeah, the key points here: dead on 7/3 like Sacrifice, Ritual Sacrifice. Dead 154 days from his birthday, Ritual Sacrifice 154. And dead 67 days after winning the Premier League, like Human Sacrifice, Blood Sacrifice, and Soccer Player. They're all 67. 38 days from the car crashing into the victory parade, like the Reds, Murder, Death, Killing. And again, back to this, that was Paul Doyle 132, like car in England when Liverpool Football Club was 132 years old. And Paul Doyle equals ramming, and Paul Doyle equals 666. You know, over 10,000 decodes, guys. I don't think it's all a coincidence. If it was all a coincidence, I wouldn't be on channel number 14. They would just let me ramble on, right? Okay, so for anyone who came in late, we'll quickly go through the flooding in Texas one more time, and then we'll wrap it up. And if you haven't already, please hit the like button and the share. Very much appreciated. Share this out on Facebook, Twitter, YouTube, whatever you got. Very much appreciated. And do me a favor, guys, when I get done, leave a comment after the fact. Anything. Thumbs up, good job, good video. Helps the algorithm, so they say. All right, deadly and catastrophic flooding unfolding along Texas Guadalupe River. And the big word all the articles are using, catastrophic. And we get this news on July 4th. 4th of July. All right, guys, so we get this news on 7/4. Catastrophic equals 74. Independence Day, 74. In Kerrville, the seat of Kerr County, Mayor Joe Herring Jr. issued a disaster declaration for the city Friday morning due to the dangerous flooding. Joe Herring Jr., 74. Holiday, Masonic killing, they're all 74. It's also 74 days after the Pope died. And we'll get into the Jesuit Catholic connection in just a little bit. So we talked about the 74. How about the 70? Guadalupe River equals 70. Independence Day, 70. Joe Herring Jr., 70. Climate change, 70. So we have flash flooding on Independence Day. Independence Day, 128. Flash flooding, 128. They say the Guadalupe River rose 22 feet in 3 hours. There's your 223 or your 322. Flash flooding equals 223. Look at that. The flash flooding caused the river to rise 22 feet in 3 hours. When flash flooding is 223, the governor's name, Gregory Wayne Abbott, 223. Skull and Crossbones, 223, which is the backwards 322. The number of Skull and Bones, and Masonic is 223. Speaking of masonry, it says the Guadalupe River rose 22 feet in 3 hours overnight near Hunt. That's Hunt, Texas, which equals 33. We get this news 33 weeks after the governor's birthday, and masonry equals 33, the highest degree of the Scottish Rite, the 33rd degree. Back to that word catastrophic, it also equals 133. Today is 133 days before the governor's birthday. 4th of July, 177, weather control, 177. What a perfect day to have a weather disaster in the United States, right, on the 4th of July. Couldn't script it any better. 4th of July, 177, weather control, 177, the Jesuit order, 177. Don't forget, New World Order is also 177. Texas, 69. Kerrville, Texas, 69. Weather control, Catholic Church, the Jesuit order, they're all 69. Weather control is a perfect match to the Jesuit order in 3 out of the 4 base ciphers. The leader of the Jesuits, Arturo Sosa, today is 131 days before his birthday. Kerrville, 131. Pope Leo the 14th, 131 in the same cipher. And we're going to connect this to Pope Leo in a big way in just a second. Isn't that crazy? The Jesuits serve the Catholic Church. The head of the Catholic Church is Pope Leo the 14th. His name is 131, like Kerrville, 131 where this happened. And it's also 131 days from the leader of the Jesuits' birthday, when weather control is a perfect match to the Jesuit order. Kerrville, 11249, Catholicism, 11249. The Jesuits operate in 112 nations. Flooding, 4635, Catholic, 4635. Flash flood is also 46 like Catholic. Catastrophic, 52. Flood, Kerr, Pope, they're all 52. This is in Kerr County. And then Flood, Kerr, and Pope, they're all 25 also in the same cipher. Now, look at this big connection to Pope Leo. So Pope Leo became the Pope on May 8th, right? Look at this. Today is 57 days after he became the Pope. This happened in Kerr County, 57 on 4th of July, 57. Look at that. 57 days after he became the Pope. Kerr County and 4th of July, they're both 57 in the same cipher. And let's go back to that 131. Remember, Kerrville is 131 in the same cipher as Pope Leo the 14th. And it's also 131 days from the leader of the Jesuits' birthday, and the Jesuits served the Catholic Church. It's 72 days before the Pope's birthday. River, 72. Jesuit order, 72. It's a river that's overflowing. On a day with 56 date numerology, 7 plus 4 plus 20 plus 25, 56, like Kerr. Climate Change Pope Greg Abbott, that's the governor. Society of Jesus, they're all 56. Society of Jesus, the official name of the Jesuits. Back to that word catastrophic, it's also 191, like Society of Jesus, 191. Back to Joe Herring Jr., he's got the 187, like Society of Jesus, 187. And they're calling this a flood wave, right? Reminding locals of 1987, where 33 people were injured, right? But flood wave has that 103, like the Vatican and Jesuits, 103. Guadalupe River, 83, like flood, 83. Murder is also 83. And Kerr County is 150 and 120, like Illuminati, 150, 120. And we get these flash floods on July 4th. The day leaving 180 days left in the year, flash floods is 180. And if anybody wants to support the channel, here's how you can do so. Any support, very much appreciated. When the video is done, I'll have links in the description and the comments for anyone that wants to help. And again, thank you so much to everyone who does support. Very much appreciated. You guys are amazing. But yeah, guys, what are the odds, right? These first couple slides here. Catastrophic flooding, right? See how they highlight catastrophic? 74 on 7/4, which is Independence Day, 74. And the mayor, Joe Herring Jr., has the 74, like killing in Masonic, right? And then you got the 70. Guadalupe River, 70. Independence Day, 70. The mayor's name, 70. Climate change, 70. And then flash flooding equals Independence Day. I mean, come on. And then 4th of July equals weather control. You know, you couldn't script it any better. All right, guys. Let me turn this thing around. All right, let me check in with the chat. Much love to Boomer Bear, Todd, Mark H, Paul, Anthony, Spencer, Terry, Claudia, Rachel, Marty, Linz, Elena, Seabass, Jacob, Janelle. Thank you guys for hanging out today. Hey, Mom. My mom's in the chat. Much love, Mom. Love you too, Mom. My mom was actually over last night visiting, so good to see you again, Mom. And my wife in the chat, Katie. She's actually in the other room, so I'll see you in a few minutes, Catherine. All right, guys. Well, it's always cool to have your wife and your mom supporting you in the chat, so I'm blessed. Amen. All right, guys. That's what I got. We covered a lot today. A lot of news going on. Thank you, Mark. I appreciate it. But yeah, if I missed anything, we will cover it on the next video or the next live stream, whatever, or a community post. Make sure you check the community section. I'm always posting there. You can follow me on Facebook and Twitter. I post everywhere all day long. That's all I do is expose evil and let people know Jesus is coming soon when I'm not being a dad and a husband. I got 4 kids, if you didn't know. They are 3, 5, 7, and 10. So we got our hands full. But yeah, full-time dad, husband, decoder, watchman, and teller of truth. Jesus is the truth. The way, the truth, and the life. Amen. And he's coming soon, so get ready. I can't wait. All right, guys. Well, thank you for hanging out today. Thank you for being part of the channel. I hope you guys have a great rest of your day. Please do me a favor on the way out. Please hit the like and the share. Very much appreciated. Please leave a comment on the video after the fact. When I get done, just leave a comment. Helps the algorithm. Very much appreciated. We got 72 watching, so if just half of you left a comment, that would be awesome. It would really go a long way. Maybe we can get this video a couple thousand views. That'd be cool. But yeah, have a great rest of your day, guys. And yeah, I think that's it. All right. As always, keep looking up. We are living in the biblical end of days. Jesus is coming very soon. I can't wait. And I'll see you guys on the next video. God bless.